What if I told you one checklist could prevent surgical infections, wrong level operations, readmissions, and even death? In spine surgery, even a small misstep can have massive consequences. So we created a simple but powerful checklist that after using it in over 800 surgeries, we saw preventable errors drop by 75%. Let me walk you through what it is, how it works, and why it could change surgical safety forever. Hi, I'm Dr. Arvind Kulkarni. I'm a consultant spine surgeon and director of Mumbai Spine Scoliosis and Disc Replacement Center. Spine surgery is precise and is associated with high stakes. But many surgical errors don't come from lack of skill. They come from simple human oversights. Things like miscommunication, missing a surgical level, or a forgotten instruction. So we created a spine-specific safety checklist, like a pilot's pre-flight checklist, designed to catch errors before they reach the patient. And it worked in a big way. Even the best trained teams make mistakes, not because they don't know what to do, but because they are doing 50 things at once. In a single spine surgery, the team has to juggle. There is imaging reports, there is surgical planning, implants and instruments have to be ordered, antibiotics have to be timed properly, patient's allergy has to be checked, positioning is important, availability of blood, wound care instructions. There are thousands of things to be taken care of. And if one of these steps is missed, it can lead to an infection, wrong procedure, or even life-threatening complications. That's why we need a system, not just memory. Why generic checklists fall short? Most hospitals use standard surgical safety checklists, often suggested by WHO. But those are very general, made for general surgery. They don't include the specific steps required in spine surgeries, which is a big universe in itself. In spine surgery, we face unique risks like operating at the wrong level, L4-5 instead of L5-S1. Just one vertebra or one segment off can mean the whole surgery is done in the wrong place. Missed CSF leaks, that is cerebrospinal fluid, that fluid surrounding the brain and spine, leaking post-surgery, which can cause meningitis, death, implant mismatch, using the wrong screw size or forgetting a backup implant, unnoticed bleeding risk due to medication the patient was never taken off. So we designed our own 37-point checklist broken down into 3 simple stages. What's actually on in a checklist? We split our checklist into pre-operative checklist, intraoperative checklist, and a post-operative checklist. So what does a pre-operative checklist deal with? Checking the diagnosis and checking if it is matching with the MRI, confirming the level and site of surgery prior to surgery, reviewing the patient's medical history, allergies, medications, making sure correct implants and instruments are in place, ensure that the patient understands the plan and has given informed consent, double check blood availability if needed. So coming to intraoperative checklist, that is during surgery. So we pause and verbally confirm the level and side again, use real-time X-ray to double confirm the level, remove any jewelry or metal to avoid electrical burns during cautery, a device that uses heat to control bleeding, ensure proper antibiotic timing. Antibiotics need to be given in a golden hour, 1 hour before the surgery and not after. Redraping or covering sterile areas if imaging equipment was moved during surgery. Coming to post-operative checklist, that is after the surgery, record drain output, give patients clear written red flag warnings like fever, wound swelling or fluid leaks, confirm physiotherapy plan, schedule appointments if there are any red flags post-surgery. It's a mix of technical checks and communication steps for both the patient and the team. And what happened after we used it? We used this checklist in 858 surgeries. Half the patients had surgery without checklist. Half of them had it with checklist. And here's what changed. Preventable errors dropped from 14.24 to just 3.5%. Wrong level surgeries dropped to 0. Infection reduced by 75%. Readmissions and unplanned reoperations went down significantly. Even smaller things improved like fewer surgical delays, smoother communication, and better patient understanding after discharge. The checklist does more than reduce infection or technical error. It builds clarity. No assumptions, no guesswork. It builds team communication. Everyone in the OR knows the plan. It builds accountability. Each step is confirmed by someone. It achieves patient safety both during and after surgery. It changes the operating room from a place of individual responsibility to one of shared precision. So what should you take away from this? If you are a surgeon or hospital administrator, consider building and adapting a checklist that fits your specialty. And if you're a patient about to undergo surgery, ask the team, do you use a spine-specific surgical checklist? Because sometimes the biggest difference between a good outcome and bad one is the tiny steps someone remembered to double check. Please like this video if you believe safety should be systematized. Share this with your team or a loved one preparing for surgery. And subscribe for more real research-based spine education. I'm Dr. Arvind Kulkarni. Thank you for watching.